My name is Malaya. I'm 28. And if you think you know how this ends, you don't. Because no one expects the girl they erased to be the one holding the scissors. It started with silence, not the kind that comforts, not the kind that heals, the kind that screams. The wedding invitations went out 3 weeks before the big day. Gold trimmed, embossed, tied with silk ribbon, delivered to cousins I hadn't spoken to in years, neighbors who barely knew my brother's name. Even the family dog sitter got one. But not me. My mailbox stayed empty. Clean, cold. I waited. I checked twice a day. I told myself, maybe it got lost. Maybe it was delayed. Maybe they forgot, but deep down, I knew. So I called. Mom answered on the third ring, voice bright like she was mid-laugh at someone else's joke. "Oh, Malaya, sweetheart, how's the weather over there?" I didn't answer that. I asked the question, burning through my ribs. "Did you forget to send me an invite?" Silence. Then a sigh, the kind people make before delivering bad news they've rehearsed. "Oh, honey, we didn't forget this event. It's just for, well, the people we actually love." The words didn't hit me right away. They settled, slow, heavy, like stones sinking into my chest. Before I could speak, Dad's voice cut in from the background. Loud, amused. "Some people just don't belong at family celebrations, Malaya. You know that." And then Aunt Lydia chiming in like she was adding the final bow to a gift meant to break me. Real family only means real family. Dear, I didn't cry. I didn't yell. I didn't even breathe for a full 5 seconds. Then I smiled. Soft. Quiet. Like I'd just been handed the answer to a question I'd been asking my whole life. "Okay," I said. "Got it." I hung up, walked to my laptop, booked a one-way ticket to Lisbon, left the next morning. While they were picking floral centerpieces and arguing over seating charts, I was walking alone down alleyways paved with ancient stone, eating pastéis de nata with powdered sugar on my fingers, watching the sun melt into the Atlantic like it owed me nothing. I took photos. Not for them, not for Instagram likes, just for me. Me under golden hour. Me laughing with a street musician who didn't know my family name. Me. Finally, free. But freedom doesn't erase memory. At night, in tiny hostel beds or quiet Airbnb corners, their voices came back. Mom's venom wrapped in velvet. Dad's chuckle like a dismissal. Aunt Lydia's smug little knife twist. I'd stare at the ceiling and whisper to myself, they can't hurt you if you're not there to be hurt. But pain, it travels. It follows you across oceans. It curls up beside you in foreign beds and whispers, you still care. Oh, that's why it stings. And maybe I did. Maybe that's why I kept wondering, why was I the disappointment when I was always the one who paid? Who covered Mom's medical bill when insurance lapsed? Who sent Dad money after his temporary setback? Who quietly transferred funds to my brother's account when his rent was due? I was irrelevant until I was essential, and then the twist, it came in the form of a text. Blunt, panicked, desperate, wedding canceled, debt. We need you. Please help. I read it once, twice. Then I put my phone down and watched the waves crash against the shore outside my window. The same people who painted me as the family ghost were now begging me to haunt them back to life. I didn't reply. Instead, I booked my return flight, not to save them, but to watch them drown. When I landed, my phone was a battlefield. Dozens of missed calls. Voicemails thick with fake tears, texts dripping with guilt and gaslighting. Mom, we were just joking, baby. You know how we are under stress. Please, you have to help us fix this. Dad, it's just money. Families help each other. Don't be stubborn. Aunt Lydia, if you cared about your brother at all, so you wouldn't let his big day fall apart. I scrolled, silent, still. Letting each message land like a pebble in a pond I no longer swam in. A week ago, I was the mistake, the burden, the one who didn't belong. Now, I was the miracle they prayed for, the checkbook with a heartbeat. I dropped my bags at my apartment, lit a candle, sat at my kitchen table, and let their panic echo in the quiet. Because this wasn't new. They'd built their entire lives, their image, their pride, their wedding, on borrowed money, borrowed smiles, and the quiet assumption that I'd always be there to catch them when they fell. This time, I stepped back, let them fall. The phone rang again. My brother, voice shaking, "Malaya, please, it's serious. Just $20,000, that's all." Then everything goes back to normal. I laughed. Not a cute laugh, not a nervous laugh, a real sharp, I finally see you laugh. "I thought I wasn't real family," I said. Silence. Then a whisper. "I didn't mean it like that." But he did. They all did. That night, I posted a photo. Me, sunset behind me. Hair wild, smile real. Caption: "Sometimes exclusion is the gift. Sometimes distance is the cure. And sometimes the wedding that wasn't meant for you was never meant to happen at all." The internet exploded. Friends, strangers, even a few cousins I hadn't heard from in a decade. "Queen, you're so strong." I've been there. I see you. Meanwhile, my family, they were screaming into the void I'd become. Mom left a voicemail sobbing. Dramatic, rehearsed, like she was auditioning for a soap opera. "Malaya, please. We didn't mean it. You're our daughter. Of course you belong. Don't punish us now." Punish? I wasn't punishing anyone. I was just absent. The way they made me absent at every birthday, every holiday, every moment that mattered, Dad switched to authority mode. "Enough games. You have the money. Step up." Family pulls together. I set the phone down, let his voice hang in the air like stale smoke. For years, I stepped up. Paid, fixed, covered, never thanked, never seen, just used. And now they needed me to be their hero. After calling me their mistake, Aunt Lydia showed up at my door, perfume thick. "Smile plastic? Malaya, sweetheart. Your brother's heartbroken? You don't want this on your conscience. Imagine the shame." I tilted my head, smiled slow. "Imagine the shame. When your own words about real family are the reason I'm not interested." She blinked, mouth opened. Nothing came out. Heels clicked fast as she retreated, like a villain who just realized she's lost. That night, I sat on my balcony. City lights glittered below. I thought of the little girl I used to be. The one who practiced smiles in the mirror hoping they'd notice. The one who saved allowance to buy Dad a Father's Day gift he never opened. The one who whispered, "Maybe next time they'll love me right." That girl is gone. I don't want their photos, their speeches, their conditional love wrapped in lace and debt. All I want is the peace I found when I stopped begging for a seat at their table and built my own. And as the cool night air wrapped around me, I realized something. They didn't just disinvite me from a wedding, they freed me from an illusion. And I'm never going back. They say silence is golden, but mine was platinum, forged in fire, tempered by betrayal. And it was the loudest thing they'd ever heard. The 4th day after I came back, their world started to crack. Not quietly, not gently, but with the kind of public collapse that turns family gossip into town legend. The wedding planner quit sent an email CCing half the vendor list. "Due to repeated non-payment and unprofessional conduct, I am formally withdrawing from the Cole wedding. Wishing you all the best." Vendors followed. Florist, caterer, photographer. One by one, they pulled out. Not because they were cruel, but because my family had burned every bridge with bounced checks and last-minute cancellations. And I was the only one who ever quietly covered those gaps. Now, no one was covering social. Media started buzzing, not with save the dates, but with screenshots of unpaid invoices, of frantic DMs from my mom begging for just one more chance, of my aunt tagging local businesses with crying emojis asking for understanding. The town, they weren't understanding. They were entertained. Did you hear? The Coles can't even pay for their own wedding. Guess real family doesn't include accountants. Malaya? Oh, she's the one they kicked out. Now they're on their knees begging her. I didn't post. Didn't. Comment. Didn't need to. My silence was louder than their screaming. Then came the call. Didn't expect. My brother. Voice raw. Shaky. Like he hadn't slept in days. Malaya. She left. I didn't ask who. I already knew. Sophie, I said softly. A broken breath, then a whisper. She packed her bags last night. Said she can't marry into a family that can't even honor a contract. That she's embarrassed. That everyone's talking? I closed my eyes, felt no triumph, no joy, just quiet. I'm sorry, I said. And I meant it. Not for him, but for the boy he used to be. Before they taught him that love is transactional. Before they made him believe cruelty is loyalty, he started crying. Not the performative sobs Mom specialized in. Real, ugly, desperate. I messed up, Malaya. We all did. I thought you'd always be there to fix it, like you always did. I didn't realize, until now, that you were the only thing holding us. Together. I didn't say anything. Let him sit in that truth. Let him marinate in the irony that the girl they called disappointment was the only pillar in their crumbling house. I'll pay you back, he choked out. Every penny, I swear. Just, please, help us, one last time. I looked out my window. The sky was clear, birds were singing, my coffee was warm, my life, finally, mine. No, I said, just that. One word. Clean. Final. He gasped. Malaya. I'm not saying no to hurt you, I interrupted, calm as morning dew. I'm saying no, because I finally love myself enough to stop letting you break me. Silence. Then a sob. Then the click. I set the phone down. Didn't feel guilty. Didn't feel angry. Felt free. That night, Aunt Lydia showed up again. No heels this time, no perfume, just sweatpants and red eyes. She didn't knock, just stood outside my door, voice trembling through the wood. Malaya, please open the door, just 5 minutes. I didn't. I stood on the other side, barefoot, arms crossed, heart steady. We were wrong, she whispered. So wrong. We were cruel. We were blind. We took you for granted. We didn't see you. Not really. Not until you were gone. I leaned my forehead against the door, closed my eyes. You didn't not see me, Aunt Lydia, I said, voice low but clear through the wood. You saw me. You just decided I wasn't worth loving unless I was useful. She started crying. Real tears this time. Not for show, not for sympathy, but because for the first time, she was facing the monster they'd all created. We're ruined, she sobbed. Your mom won't leave her room. Your dad's avoiding the neighbors. And your brother, he hasn't eaten in 2 days. This isn't just about the wedding, Malaya. This is everything. I took a deep breath, let it out slow. I know, I said. And that's the point. I walked away, left her there, crumbling on my doorstep, just like they left me, alone, invisible, disposable, for years. The next morning, I posted again. No photo of me this time, just my journal. Open one line written in bold ink. Exclusion isn't the end of your story. Sometimes it's the beginning of your freedom. The post went viral, not because I asked, not because I begged, but because thousands of people, daughters, sons, siblings, survivors, saw themselves in my silence. This is me. I lived this. Thank you for saying what I couldn't. You're not alone, Malaya. None of us are. My DMs flooded, stories, tears, thank yous. Even a therapist messaged me, you've given people permission to heal. That's powerful. Meanwhile, my family, Ghosttown.mom deactivated her Instagram, Dad stopped going to his golf club. My brother, he posted one blurry selfie, eyes hollow, face pale, caption, lost everything, including myself. I didn't like it, didn't comment, didn't need to. My absence was the loudest reply they'd ever receive. By week 7, the wedding was officially dead. Venue released a statement. The Cole family reservation has been permanently canceled due to non-payment and breach of contract. No drama, no anger, just final. The news spread like wildfire. Local paper even ran a tiny blurb. High-profile wedding canceled amid financial controversy. Family and private crisis. Private crisis? Please, their crisis was public, painfully so. And me? I was thriving, got a promotion at work. Started painting again, something I hadn't done since I was 16. Before they told me art doesn't pay bills, hosted dinner parties with friends who asked how I was before asking what I could do for them. One Friday night, my coworker Priya dragged me to a rooftop gathering. No agenda, no expectations, just wine, laughter, fairy lights, and real conversation. I laughed so hard my stomach hurt. No one compared me to anyone. No one asked when I'd settle down. No one mentioned my family for the first time in my life. I wasn't the Cole daughter who got left out. I was just Malaya, and that was enough. Then, the final message, it came at 2:17 a.m. from Mom. You've embarrassed us enough. I hope you're happy. I read it, sat with it, waited for the old ache, the guilt, the fear, the desperate need to apologize, to fix, to beg for forgiveness. It never came. Instead, I smiled, soft, sad, free. I typed back. Not to hurt, but to heal. I'm not happy because you're hurting, Mom. I'm happy because I'm no longer drowning to keep you afloat. I hit send, turned off my phone, went back to sleep. The next day, Dad sent his final blow. Don't bother coming back. You made your choice. I stared at it, nodded, and replied with one word. Finally. Because that's what I'd been waiting for. Not their love, not their apology, but their release. They let me go. Not with grace, not with kindness, but they let me go. And that was the gift I didn't know I needed. I didn't go to family dinners, didn't answer holiday cards, didn't show up when Aunt Lydia accidentally bumped into me at the grocery store and burst into tears. I built my life quietly, powerfully, intentionally. I traveled, started a small online shop selling my paintings, adopted a rescue cat named Juniper, who judges me daily but never asks me to fix her mistakes. I reconnected with cousins. They'd told me weren't worth your time. Turns out, they were the ones who remembered my birthday, who sent me voice notes just to say, hey, I'm proud of you. I learned to say no, to set boundaries, to walk away from conversations that drained me. And the most beautiful part? I stopped waiting for them to change, because they won't, and I don't need them to. 1 year later, I stood on a beach in Bali, taught to sunset, painting the sky in gold and violet, barefoot, alone, perfectly, peacefully, whole. I opened my journal, the same one that held my pain, my rage, my rebirth. On the last page, I wrote, they erased me from their table, but in doing so, they set me free. I don't need a seat there anymore. I built my own. And at mine, love doesn't come with conditions. Peace doesn't come with debt. And joy? Joy doesn't need their permission. I closed the book, tucked it under my arm, walked back to my villa. That night, I posted one final photo, me smiling. Not for them, not for the gram, just for me. Caption. To everyone who was told they didn't belong, you were never the problem. You were the solution they were to. Blind to see. Keep walking. Your table is waiting. And it's more beautiful than theirs ever was. The messages poured in for weeks. Thousands. From strangers. From survivors. From people who finally felt seen. But the one that made me cry? From a 19-year-old girl in Ohio. I didn't go to my sister's wedding either. I thought I was broken until I read your story. Thank you for showing me I'm not alone. I'm booking my ticket to Portugal next month. Just like you did. You saved me without even knowing my name. I cried, not because I was sad, but because I finally understood my pain had purpose. My silence had power. My survival, it became someone else's lifeline. They thought cutting me out would make their story cleaner, more perfect, more real. But the truth? The moment they disinvited me was the moment I stopped being their side character and became the hero of my own damn story. And if you're reading this, if you've been erased, ignored, told you don't belong, hear me. You were never the mistake. You were the miracle they didn't deserve. Keep walking, keep healing, keep building. Your table is waiting, and it's set with love, peace, and the kind of joy they'll never be able to afford. Welcome home. Darling, you're safe now.